And we are live. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Trishul and that other guy in the bottom there joins us today. How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, look. I'm not even gonna try to hide it. It was a good weekend.
Yeah, please go. Thank you. Yes, you were gloating and you were gloating and you were gloating.
Hmm. No. I wasn't gloating. I was just smiling profusely.
Anyway, Trishul, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, sister. But I want to know how you're doing. I want to know how you are doing, how you're feeling. How was your weekend? What did you get up to?
My weekend is a blur. It's a blur that happened. Wimbledon, 80,000 odd people witnessed that. It's a blur. A game that I went in without the expectation of winning, and then I saw the lineup, and it gave me hope. And then you know what they say, hope, man. That's what always gets you. It's the hope that kills you. Yeah. Not gonna lie, Chelsea should have won that game. I think that's the long and short of it. If anyone disagrees with me, yeah, they didn't watch the same game that we were watching. I
Wait,
don't know.
do
Shiva,
you
what do
think
you think?
do you think Chelsea should have won that game based on the context of the game, or do you think Chelsea should have won that game based on the context of the performance?
This is based on chances that Chelsea had, so I don't know how you're going
Okay,
to
so
conceptualize.
okay. What I can say from a Liverpool fan watching was, at no point did I feel threatened. At no point,
And
like,
that's the scary, and
I
that's the
I
scary
felt like
part.
every single time you guys and you guys hit us on the break quite often, but I felt like every single time Van Dijk was just there. He was here, there, and everywhere. And a lot of the time when Jackson actually got the ball and when he was running at our defense, Konate was just bigger than him, stronger than him, faster than him, better first touch than him. Like, he had him beat all like on all ends. And Gallagher had that chance at the end, and had that fell to
He
Nkunku
had
or
two chances, two clear
yeah, but
chances.
there was one where I was like, dude, you absolutely should have scored that. But you could see in the way he took that shot that this man was dead tired. Like, if that fell to Conor Gallagher in the 5th minute rather than the, I don't know, whatever minute of extra time it was, he probably would have scored. So
I think
at no point did I feel like, I mean, you guys did have good phases of play. Like, we didn't utterly dominate that game. You guys did put up a strong performance in some parts, but I never felt under threat that entire game.
I
I
think
honestly
that
thought it was gonna go. Okay, that's a lie. I thought it was gonna go to penalties, and I thought our kids were not gonna handle the pressure. That's what I thought was gonna happen, and that's how I thought. That's how I saw us losing that game.
Poch thought the same thing.
Poch thought the
yeah.
same thing,
That's why
and
he didn't
he then
coach for
played for
extra
it.
time. Yeah,
Yep.
he didn't coach in extra time. He basically we were able to create on the break towards the end of the game. We applied pressure. Connor was supposed to score. Disasi was supposed to score. Disasi missed right on the goal line with no
Mm,
one in front of him.
mm.
So we were supposed to make that pressure work. And then once the team became even more inexperienced from the Liverpool side, we were supposed to show our experience. And
But there was none of that.
I think Poch just decided, well, my go-to English guys are tired. That means the whole team is tired. So everyone must sit back. You have a front three that just entered the game, but you're not going to utilize them. You've decided as the coach, you're not going to use them. They're going to defend, and they're just going to balloon balls forward. to no one, because you can't expect Kunku to hold up play. He's not Jackson. He's not going to be able to duel with Virgil van Dijk. So
I mean,
it didn't make
Jackson didn't
sense.
really do much of a duel with Virgil van Dijk either. I was just
He was
telling.
isolated. He didn't have anyone to play off. The thing about holding up play is you do need support for the first ball, because if you have to control and also muscle a player, you're going to lose most of the time if you're playing against giants like Konate and Van Dijk. You need to beat them with the first touch. He didn't have anyone near him the whole game to beat them on the first touch. And there were duels that he did win, especially when he was wider. He would win some of those duels. He won one duel, beat Konate, passed the ball inside to Gallagher. Gallagher crossed to Enzo, but it was behind Enzo. And then Enzo, trying to control it, he basically just spun, and he couldn't backheel the ball.
I think that was
those...
Gomez that he beat. I don't think he beat Konate once that whole game.
Gomez. Yeah, that was
and
Gomez.
that's also why I say I never ever felt threatened, because when you guys were getting chances, it was not dropping to the right person. It was dropping to
I don't think
Enzo
it was
on
even
the
about
turn.
the right person.
Let's look at it this way. Let's
Cole
get
Palmer
a
missed
neutral.
point blank.
Hold on.
Point blank. He hit Kelleher. Jackson with the follow through couldn't put the ball in the net. We had many chances. It wasn't about threatening or controlling the game for me. It was just about the quality of the. We made 5 big chances that game. Liverpool had 1, and it's the goal line one that Petrovic.
I think
Petrovic
Kuiv ended that game with a whatever the minus of the XG is to show what his saves were, of like close to 3, which means he essentially saved 3 penalties in that game.
Yeah. And Petrovic
Man was
had
a
10
wall.
saves. Petrovic had 10 saves, but most of his saves were straight shots from outside the box. It wasn't really like Liverpool were threatening that much as well. So the game was more about the jewels in midfield. I think Caicedo and Endo had amazing games.
Enzo.
As a result, McAllister and Enzo struggled because McAllister was getting kicked so bad.
He's getting them mixed up.
No, my guy. I saw, from what I saw from Caicedo, I don't think he's a 6. I think he's an 8, because he doesn't have the positional awareness or the discipline to play as a 6. And I thought Endo was
he played 6 and he was brilliant. He won most of his
not
duels.
in that game. Not in the. Okay, fine, right? He won some duels,
he won like
but
11 duels in that game. What do you mean?
No, fine, I'll give you that. But he was never available for when Enzo was in trouble to just be an outball.
So let me tell you,
he never showed for the ball when your defenders had it. He won some duels, but like
it's how we play. So it's not a Caicedo problem. It is a Pochettino build-up coaching problem. This has been the issue since the start of the season. Caicedo used to play in the build-up at Brighton with McAllister and Gross. That was never an issue with Caicedo's game at all.
And all of a sudden he's forgotten it now.
He came to Chelsea. We don't build with the 6. We build with our centre backs. Our centre backs are the ones that are pushing balls into midfield. So what do? They bypass the midfield with their passing. And when Enzo got the ball most of the time, he was on the left playing with Chilwell, who is not ball secure, as well as Colwill, who was also losing balls. So that left side of ours kept
that was a highway. Yeah.
Oh, it was a highway. They kept giving possession away. It was my biggest frustration because it was Chilwell beginning of the game, then it was Colwill, and then Enzo stopped trusting them, so he would try to look for other passes. So it was a frustrating part of the game, and you need to understand, in a double pivot, if Enzo is passing to his left, Caicedo can't run all the way to that side to try to support him. He's got players that side, enough players to be able to play, but this team doesn't know how to build up. We just know how to run at goal. Give us a counter-attack, we'll get it done. But as far as building up our play from the back, we can't. It really doesn't work. You saw it the whole game. There wasn't a single time where we were able to build up from the goalkeeper all the way forward. At some point, even Gusto kept miscontrolling his touches on the wing because we don't know what to do in our
And
build-up.
he made
That is not
Bradley seem like a very mature person.
So that's actually like my biggest takeaway from the game, right? Even though we had uh, less experienced players on the pitch than you guys, we look like the more mature team, and you guys look like
you look like a better
to be
coach
honest,
team.
you guys look like mercenaries. You like that's honestly the
What, for
opinion that
hire?
I got out of that team. Mercenaries for hire.
Look,
That's what it looked like. It was so disjointed.
So the
Okay,
average age.
let's do this. Hold on. Okay, let's do this. Trushul, from your side, I think you've got a very analytical view. What went right with these guys, and what went wrong with Chelsea?
I think what went wrong with Chelsea is what's been going wrong the entire season. They don't help themselves. I can't count, like I think it was Onke that said 5 big chances missed. You can't be missing those chances in a cup final.
Yeah.
In a cup final, you only need 1 half chance to score. That's exactly what happened to Van Dijk. It was from the corner, wasn't it? It
Yes.
wasn't. It's not a situation where you can just sit back and then wait and then wait and then wait and then wait. And that's what Pochettino tried to do. But I think in a lot of the game, it was never going to be. It was never going to be okay. Pochettino could have outcoached Klopp in this situation. Pochettino could have done better in this situation because the team that he puts out compared to the team that Liverpool puts out, it's night and day. Liverpool were playing with a bunch of academy kids. Chelsea's team, okay, fair enough. Chelsea's team is not the best, but they just didn't help themselves. They did not help themselves. And with the whole Caicedo thing, okay, I agree on your points and I agree with my brother's points. It's a thing where sometimes he looks like he's one of the best midfielders in the league, and other times it just looks like he just came
Bang
up with
average.
nothing. Like you think of Caicedo and Enzo, you think of okay, we've got a ball winner and we've got a good progressive midfielder and someone who can dictate the play. But then when you're watching them yesterday, it almost seems like there's a third man missing from that midfield. And
Yes.
Romeo.
That man is called Conor Gallagher.
mm,
The problem is that our midfield doesn't have the correct balance because we don't have a coach that knows how to use our players. Conor Gallagher has never been a number 10. So as a result, he gets lost in the action. So he doesn't support the midfield. He does everything to try to support the attack, but he's not playing second striker like a 10 should to what's his name, to Jackson. So Jackson was isolated. Conor Gallagher would get lost in the action of the game. Throughout the game, he just was nowhere. And then at times when we are attacking, then you see him making a trailing run with no end product as well. So Chelsea right now is never going anywhere with Poch. It's very
Are we
evident.
there?
It's been I've been there since he was hired. I've been there. I've
Can't
never.
get the Tottenham stench off him.
You can't, bruh. He couldn't get it off with Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar as his front three. He's not gonna get it with Sterling, Jackson, and Palmer as his front three. He's not. He makes good players stink. That is the way Poch has been throughout his career. Players play down to their level under Poch. Harry Kane can play under any coach. And it's unfortunate because Harry Kane is the reason Poch stayed that long and got some credence as a coach. Otherwise, without Harry Kane, without Virgil van Dijk at
I
Southampton,
disagree with that one.
what?
I disagree with that one. He gave Dele Alli a chance,
He had
and
one good season.
Dele Alli, there was a point. Dele Alli was
Son as
unplayable.
well,
I think he won
to be
the
honest.
PFA. He won the PFA that
Young
breakout
Player of
season.
the Year.
I think they got him from that cup.
That's fine. That's fine. But those were individual players. Cole Palmer, for example, this year, that's an individual player that's making things happen for the coach. It is not the coach coaching him up to that level. It is that player playing to their level. That's
And
the
the weird
problem.
thing is, it pains to say this. Liverpool next season is not going to have a manager, but I feel Liverpool is ahead of us with a manager. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. They've got a culture. Here's what people didn't realize is that these academy players that people are talking about, they are training with the senior team. Number one, number two, they are tactically training with that team. They are being introduced to that culture of the Liverpool Klopp way, basically. And as a result, it is easy for them to be coached on the field to play the way Klopp wants to play. It's different on the Chelsea side. There's no identity whatsoever. And you could see this. Liverpool wasn't impressive in that game at all. But they had a specific way that they played. And you can tell this team is
It's
coached and
maturity.
this one
Even
isn't.
when the kids came on, they had that like they
They
just
had the
inherited
same
the
I think
maturity.
identity.
Shiva,
So
you
Harvey Elliott,
overuse.
like I'm gonna give a shout out to Harvey Elliott because he's 21, maybe. I don't think he's 21 yet. He's probably 20. But when he moved into midfield after Gravenberch got injured, and I'll get to why Caicedo shouldn't have been on the pitch just now. But when he moved into midfield, he looked like the midfielder who had won a World Cup. It wasn't Enzo because he was always available.
It
He
wasn't
was
McAllister as
always
well.
a safe
Let's
pair of
let's
hands.
let's also say it wasn't
McAllister
McAllister.
was not bad. McAllister was not as bad as Enzo. McAllister was
Look,
not as bad
if
as
if
Enzo.
we if we are having a competition of who was the worst, we can say Enzo was the worst. But both of them didn't have a good game. Caicedo
McAllister didn't
owned
have a bad game.
McAllister. Caicedo owned
Dude,
McAllister.
Caicedo shouldn't have
In your
even been on the
midfield,
pitch.
in your midfield three, Endo and the
Harvey,
kid you mentioned now
Harvey.
had the good game.
Yeah, no, they
McAllister
did.
didn't.
They did.
McAllister didn't. Just
I
like
would
Enzo didn't have a
still
good game for us.
rather take. I would still rather take McAllister's performance over Enzo or even
It's
Caicedo.
fine.
Well,
It's
that's in
fine. You don't.
hindsight, and yes, you are. Yeah, it makes sense when you put it that way.
Yeah,
But
it's fine.
I think let's rationalize this in this way. Football or any sport is muscle memory. Okay, it's repetitive, 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 and the more you repeat the same task, the more you get good at it. Okay, and it goes back to what you guys were saying that it's a culture thing where these kids, I'm just going to call them kids because unfortunately Chelsea got bitten by kids. I saw this one video, the one kid coming back at school, the whole school claps for him and whatnot. These kids showed that they're getting to the point of understanding what the Liverpool Klopp way is. And it's pure muscle memory. Repetitive, 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 repetitive. And that's that. And the other thing is that these kids are learning to be interchangeable when it comes to positions. There's too many teams, not to mention Man United, the Tuchel thing I'm focusing on you, where they have too many specialists in certain roles. That the minute that one of those specialists is out, literally the whole thing crumbles. And I don't know what Klopp feeds them, but the confidence that they have on the ball in every position is.
I can tell you what it is.
If you can sell it, you'll be a billionaire.
I can tell you what it is. Klopp said it when he came. He said, "Let's turn doubters into believers," and that's exactly what he did. And I'll tell you why. Right. So Szoboszlai and Salah, they both as individuals felt like they should have played that game. The medical staff did not really clear them to play that game. So, I mean, as a player, how many times have we seen a player being rushed back to play in a final, right? Klopp could have easily
patched up,
yeah,
and just checked in.
yeah. Some pain injections and off you go. Klopp could have easily put Salah and Szoboszlai on the bench because they were probably fine enough for 20 minutes here and there. You know, last 10 minutes of the game, you send on Szoboszlai and Salah, cause some havoc, win the game. But he didn't. Instead, he put the kids, right? That's telling the kids that I've got probably the best player in the world, and I've got our best midfielder this season, and they are not at 100%. So instead of putting a
Wait.
not
Who's the
100
best player in the world?
Mo Salah,
You should
Get
have
the fuck
jumped
out of
that part. You should have
it's
jumped that part.
arguable. Arguable.
Ah,
It's
ah,
not
Arguable, but
arguable.
It's
you were
arguable.
coming
Arguable at all.
around.
It's arguable.
Your
His team has been winning games without him.
speech
It's
was
fine.
perfect.
Our team has
until you
been
said
winning
that.
games. We
Without
were
him.
top of the league when he
Without
was
him.
there as well. So I
Without
mean,
him.
he's
You were
he's
top of the league
currently
without him. You went to AFCON, got injured.
we were top of the league
He's
with him.
injured again. You guys haven't
We
been
were top of the
affected
league with him.
whatsoever. Without you've just
We were
won a
top of the
cup
league
without
with him.
Yes, and without him. You remain
Yeah, it's fine.
top of
Go
the
on
league
with your
without him.
Anyway,
You won
the
a
point
cup
I am
without him.
trying to
That's fine. It is with the Liverpool team. It is about the collective. That is what
and
Klopp has
that's
enforced.
where I'm getting to, right?
It's the
Because
collective. Yes.
he tells the kids that they can come in and they can fit into this collective and they can just take the team forward. And as a 17-year-old, how does that make you feel? Right?
There wasn't a
Those
17-year-old in that team.
or
was
whatever.
19.
How old
The
is
youngest player
McConnell?
was 19.
How old is McConnell?
He's 19.
Okay.
Nah, he's
give
not
him a
19.
chance. Let him finish.
He's not
Guys,
19.
I feel your pain, my guy.
Guys,
Someone
come
is
on.
burning a little bit, but
No,
McConnell is
I'm
not 19.
I'm not. Okay, can I tell you something? This narrative that, oh my God, these babies, these Liverpool babies. No, guys, like let's talk football now. The youngest player was 19 years old, and I think there was three 19-year-olds on that team. On the
Here's
Liverpool
another
team.
stat. Here's another
The
stat
average,
to back you
the
up.
average age of
The
the Chelsea
starting
team.
average age. The
Yeah,
starting average
Liverpool's
age
average age was higher than Chelsea's.
for
Yes.
Chelsea
Yeah,
was
our average
23.
age was higher, but if you look at look at
Even the
average
winners
first team minutes
were
played.
Tsimikas. The winners were Tsimikas
Wait,
and
what are
Van
we looking
Dijk.
at, Shiva?
Look at average first team minutes played. I think
No,
our
that's
the
No, no,
players that we
because
subbed
you
on
were going on the
probably
narrative
don't
of
even have
kids.
20 league games
It
between
doesn't
them.
change that our team is younger. It doesn't, though. It doesn't change our team.
But your
is
team
younger.
has game
you guys
experience.
Had more cup. You guys had more cup. You guys had more cup and senior football players on the pitch than we did. You had
You
the
guys
experience
had more
over us.
league caps than we did.
We had
your players
more
were
money.
capped
Fine,
We had
but
more
that
money.
doesn't speak to
No, no.
and more
experience,
money.
Yeah,
And
it's
more,
more
that's
money.
that's
I think that's the
literally
one thing that's the
experience.
problem with everyone.
That's literally experience.
Okay, cool.
League games is literally experience.
You and I
How do you
are on the
measure
same page.
experience?
Hold on.
How
I
did
think
we
let's-
have
let's
more
Tony
league games
talk.
than you guys?
Hold on. Can I just say this? Average age for Chelsea, starting average age was 23. Average starting age for Liverpool was 25. And yet still, everyone goes on this narrative, these kids. I'm with Onke on this
confused.
one, Shiva.
I'm
So get
confused.
away from that whole narrative. You
Maybe
won,
it's Ben Chilwell.
deservedly
but
so.
Virgil van Dijk probably has played more league games than more than half of the Chelsea team. More than half
Champions
of the
League
team
games
that
as
played
well.
yesterday. More than half of it. It was
And
Ben
I think
Chilwell
Shiva's
who was
frozen.
how many
experienced.
games? How many
It's
games
Ben
has Cole
Chilwell.
Palmer played next to the kids that we brought on?
Yeah,
Kwanzaa's
that's
only
fine.
got like
Cole
not
Palmer-
even 10 league games.
Cole Palmer played how many times for Man City last season? A handful of
Played
games.
3 games. He played
But
3
The
games.
most games he's
But that's
played in
still
his career
games.
this season. Yo, wait. but the
Exactly, and that's
exactly,
still
it
more
doesn't
games
change
than the
that
players
this
that
is
we
his
brought
first
on.
Cup final. This is his first cup final for
This
Chelsea.
is Conor Bradley's first cup final.
That's fine. He wasn't man of the
This
match,
is
was he?
Kwanzaa's first
Who
cup
was
final.
man of the match? Who was
This
man of
is-
the match for Liverpool?
Okay, you can't say that we had a more experienced team than you just because our players were older. Your players have played more games and have more minutes under their
No,
belt
you had
at
players
this level.
that hadn't played any games, bruh. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Yes,
We have
that's
players
fine.
that hadn't
But
played.
those players
Scott
were not standouts.
Dan's,
But-
I
but
don't think his
those
first name
players
is
were
Scott.
not
I don't even
standouts.
know his first name.
Wait,
He got like
that's fine.
38
That's
minutes
fine.
of senior
That's
football.
fine. But those players were not standouts. Those players were not expected to. The person who was expected to stand up and be counted was the one who stood up and was counted and won the game.
So why
It was
didn't your
experience
players
that
stand up
won
and be
that
counted?
game.
Because they're a bunch of wankers. I think we all
Because
know
they're
that.
kids. Wait, because they are kids.
Raheem
So-
Sterling is not a kid.
Raheem
So-
Sterling was the worst player on the pitch for Chelsea yesterday.
Why?
He was the worst
Why?
player on the pitch.
Why?
You're asking the wrong person. You're asking wrong person. How can
Our
I tell you
experienced
why?
guy stood up and was counted. Raheem Sterling probably has more Premier League games than Virgil van Dijk. Why wasn't he standing up and being counted?
Because he's
There's
Raheem
something
Sterling.
called
I
Google.
don't
I'll
know.
quickly
I
Google
don't
that.
know what.
I'm
but
fairly
the
certain he
point-
does.
The point I'm making to you is the narrative is going with the kids. When the kids didn't win the game, it wasn't the kids that won that game. It was experience. It was cup experience that won that game.
So why
And
doesn't
our
your cup
lack of-
experience
If I
win the game?
can,
Our
if I
lack of
can
it was the
button
reason
here,
we
if I
couldn't
can
win.
button
Go
here,
for it, Trishul. Before these two,
It's-
and I'm tempted to even move them apart because they play Trishul.
Look, it's a thing where both sides make sense because when you think of Liverpool's average age being higher, you have to take into account Van Dijk is 32, Endo is 31. But then with the Chelsea thing is they've got players that I mean, look at Madueke, he's from the Eredivisie. Enzo is from the Portuguese league. Cole Palmer didn't get a sniff at City. These are players that yes, okay, they may be old, as in they're not teenagers, but they've not gotten actual Premier League experience. But then on the Liverpool side, there was a lot of academy. I don't know if they're from Liverpool's academy, but 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. But at the end of the day, it wasn't
So-
Connor or Dams or whoever who scored the winning goal. It was Tsimikas crossing for Van Dijk. Van Dijk scored the
Virgil
winning
van Dijk has 252 Premier League appearances. Raheem Sterling has 371.
No, I agreed with you when you
goal.
said that.
And
because
Sterling
Raheem
was
Sterling's been playing
horrible
longer.
yesterday.
I agreed with you there.
So
No, I
why
agreed.
why was
Sterling
your why was
But my
your
point was more than
experienced
half.
put your
Wait.
hand up player
Okay, so remove
not the guy that delivered,
wait,
but ours
wait.
was?
Wait, I said I cannot tell you why Sterling couldn't deliver. I can't. I have no. I'm the wrong person to ask why Raheem Sterling didn't play well yesterday. It was his choice, I guess. I don't know what to say, but my point was, if we're going to talk about Premier League experience, Van Dijk alone accounts for more than half of our team in terms of Premier League experience. And that
How
is
can
just
he count
true.
for more than half of your team if one man has 1.5 times the amount of
half
games
of
that he has?
the players in the team, the other that half wouldn't include Sterling or Ben Chilwell, obviously.
Hmm.
If I'm saying
And then
half,
I think
I'm not
also
including them.
let's go back
So
a
if I
bit.
exclude the experienced
know-
players, which are Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell, who are we left with? Disasi, Colwell, Gusto. We go into midfield. It's Caicedo. It's Enzo. It's Conor Gallagher. We go forward. It's Palmer and it's Jackson.
Jackson.
That's a season.
Who has
Plus.
Who has more Premier League caps? And I'm using Premier League just because the stats are in front of me and it's easier to get. Who has more Premier League caps between Gallagher and Tsimikas, do you think?
No,
I think
Tsimikas just
it's
came
Gallagher.
in.
It is Gallagher because Gallagher was a first team player for Palace.
For Crystal
For
Palace.
Palace, yeah.
But that's what the point is making. The point is making is that you've got someone like Jackson who came in at this season. You've got someone like Levi Colwell who didn't make such a big impact when he first started at Chelsea. Only now he started to get a run of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? It's only
So
recent.
Cole's
Yes.
also got a season under his belt last season, right? Same with Enzo. Okay, Enzo's got half a season under his belt. Caicedo also has a full season in the Premier League under his belt. Like
Different
you
system.
can't.
Different system.
I'll give you. Look, I'll give you Jackson. I'll give you. Who else did you have on the pitch? I'll give you Jackson.
Nkunku is
I'll
there
give
for a
you
month.
Gusto. I'll give you Petrovic.
Nkunku.
Right?
Nkunku's already played Premier League
Disasi.
football for a month.
He didn't start. He didn't start.
Disasi.
I'll give you Dizazi. I'll give you Dizazi as
How
well.
many have you given? Keeping count.
4. I've given 4.
No, we're talking Chelsea, right? So at Brighton, he doesn't have cup experience. He's just playing in the league. Is it? Are we saying at Brighton it's the same as it is at Chelsea?
Well,
Where
Brighton
we are
are
playing
above
for
you,
trophies? No,
But that's
but
not the
Brighton
point.
is not
and
playing
they're
in a
in
cup
Europe
final.
this season.
Yeah, but Brighton is not playing in a cup final, and we are a Champions
But
League.
Chelsea
team.
didn't really play the cup final either.
What do you
No,
mean?
Chelsea has set a record. They're the first English team to lose six
5 or 6.
finals.
I don't like
Yeah.
that record. There's a very big asterisk on that record. I don't like that stat. That's a stat where you try to make the numbers suit your narrative, because
How so?
you guys
It's
won the
numbers.
you won the Champions League between then.
It
No,
was a
it's domestic.
thing.
But
It's a
it's
domestic.
Yeah.
Yes, but making it, saying domestic is like as a very big qualifier.
No, but it's
There was
Wait,
3 trophies
It's a
behind
truth,
that.
wait.
There
though.
was 3 trophies behind that. There was
I mean,
the
it's a
Champions League,
truth.
the Club World Cup, and the Super Cup. But like on a domestic thing, but that's just so situational, because then we can say, okay, this team hasn't won a domestic trophy in so long. But
Maybe
then
we
they've
have
won
Wembley
double
jitters.
Champions League.
Maybe we have Wembley jitters. I don't know. I don't know how to explain
And
it.
also, for Klopp to take the gamble that he took, it was worthwhile, because everyone would have understood that his best players are injured, and this is the final push right now. He doesn't really have to put. If a player like Salah is like operating at like 60%, there are instances where you can say, you know what, Salah, give me 30 minutes and I'll be comfortable. But right now, there's no need. The point difference between number 1 and number 3 is 1 point each.
To me,
So-
he was making it clear what his priorities were, which for a
Yes.
Liverpool fan,
Yes.
any Liverpool fan should be happy that his priorities were very clear. He wasn't going to prioritize the health of his team in terms of chasing the league for a cup final in March. He wasn't
For
going
energy
to do
drink,
that.
for energy drink cup final.
Yeah, he wasn't going to do that. He wanted to win it, but he wasn't going to risk his best players who are not 100% when he's got a league title to chase. And it's a close one. So that tells you that his priorities are aligned.
Thank you.
What is disappointing, though, on the Chelsea side is that how do we have tired players when we were not even playing in midweek?
That's
we were not
bullshit.
playing in
Sorry
Europe.
to swear. That's honestly,
Hey,
that's utter bollocks.
Yeah,
Like that
watch.
is a manager who's grasping for excuses.
Let me ask the two of you this. Are both of you Pochettino out? Like fully Pochettino out?
Yeah, I've been. The moment he signed, I've
I think-
always been Pochettino out.
I was on the fence up until what month are we? Feb. Up until I was on the fence up until December, where he did string quite a few results, and there was a style of play that we could like look and say, okay, cool, he's developing the style of play, but that style of play was very opportunistic, if I can call it that, because it requires the other team to attack you first, and then you get the ball, because the minute they attack you, then they open up spaces and whatnot. Chelsea right now can't break a side.
It's like
If
watching
a side
Ten Hag.
decides-
It's
Yeah,
like
if a
watching a
side
Ten Hag
decides,
team.
you know what, we are going to sit and not do anything and let you come at us, it becomes a very dull affair. Chelsea would prefer to play a side like Spurs every week, like week in, week out. Because with Spurs, they're going to come at you and they're going to leave spaces in the back, and then you can then go right ahead and penalize them or punish them with those spaces. Besides that, yeah, I think his tenure is done for. And I think the writing is on the wall also. No matter how high he finishes in the league right now, he can, if he finishes the league, if he wins all of his matches, I don't see us making top 6.
Cesc Fabregas was saying the biggest challenge when you profile players, especially in midfield, you need to also realize that certain profiles of players cannot defend for a full 90 minutes as your style of play, that they are going to play on the back foot. Because if you do not coach possession-based football as your staple diet of how you want to play football, players like Caicedo, players like Enzo are going to suffer. You can't tell Enzo and Caicedo to defend the whole game. At some point, they're going to get found out. At some point, they're going to make rash tackles. They're going to misplace passes because you are forcing them to play deep. You're never allowing them to free themselves to be creative, to take shots, to do any of those things.
You're limiting their game. You're
You are
limiting
limiting them.
Enzo and
And then-
Caicedo's game, because Enzo's game is progressive. Caicedo's game is
Exactly.
progressive. You need them not in your third, you need them in the middle
In
third,
the
pushing up
exactly,
into the opponent's
I've
third.
been
You
saying
can't
this
just
for I've
sit
been
back
saying this for
and
so
then
long.
counter.
I've been
Question.
saying this for so
Style of
long that
football.
yes,
Question.
and we are having a problem now where our manager is forcing us to play the most difficult brand of football, where you're basically having to pull results by your bootstraps. You have to run the entire field to get to goal to score. That's not how these players want to play. They want to play with comfort. They want to play with freedom. And I always say that take these exact same players, place them in a Liverpool team, place them in a City team. They are different players. Place them in an Arsenal team. They are different players. You have to
So
allow these players to express themselves. Otherwise,
and
we're going to be talking about them like, oh, look at them. Their price tag doesn't match with what they're giving, because that what they are giving is not what they are supposed to be. They're supposed to defend only when they need to defend, when they lose the ball, not to defend the whole game.
question. There was a point Chelsea had 7 international captains in the starting 11. Would Poch be able to coach those players?
No.
Hell no.
No, and we saw it at PSG.
Yeah.
No, Poch is not a leader. That's why he
So I
likes to
think
coach young players.
I think
He's
then
not a
the
leader.
next question is this: who comes in for Poch?
There was absolutely zero reason for Chelsea to fire Tuchel. Zero reason.
None.
It was
It was
there
None.
was
egos.
no
Egos
reason.
collided. It was
None.
egos that collided, and
So
yeah.
a friend of mine at work, I don't know if you remember Olsen, Zikle. He
Yep.
he
Huge
thinks
Chelsea
that
fan.
huge Chelsea fan. Didn't speak to me the whole day today.
I don't blame.
Look,
If I was around, if I was around also, I would have like stuff you.
you guys were so lucky. I was in a full day training session. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is what he thinks happened there is when Bowley came in, he wanted to get rid of everyone who had a senior position under Roman's tenure, regardless of who you were or what your performance was like. He basically just wanted to reset the whole club. And who is left from Roman's tenure?
No one.
No
So
Yeah.
one.
I think
Thiago
the
Silva,
biggest,
maybe? I don't
yeah,
remember.
Thiago
Correct me if
Silva.
I'm wrong.
Oh, from the players.
Or like from anyone, and I don't mean like a youth player. I mean like a senior player who could possibly be captain. Maybe Silva, maybe
It is.
Reece James, Chilwell.
I think it is Silva and Reece James and Chilwell.
And Chilwell, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
else is gone, and it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I was watching.
Even the backroom staff.
I was watching Arsenal. I was watching City, and I'm like, we've literally given these fuckers starters, and it's players that we had in our Arsenal, if you don't mind me using that pun. But we've literally handed starters to these guys. What's his name starts for freaking City? What's his name?
Kovacic.
Kovacic starts for City. Freaking
Kovacic should never have been sold. Kovacic could have been that third midfielder that you guys are looking for.
Thank you.
Yep.
And right now we're crying foul, of which it's our own doing. Okay, I don't know about Mason Mount. You deserve Mason Mount. That's fine. You've got.
I don't even know where Mount is. No, none of us know where that guy is. It's March. It's March. Thursday, Friday. It's March. I don't know where Mason Mount is. And you spent 65 million on it. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know
I
what
saw
he's
him this
planning
week.
to
I don't know.
do.
You saw him this weekend, sitting in the injury list. He was at the match.
Probably waiting table somewhere.
I have no idea. I mean, look, there's a player that was good at Chelsea, but he was such a system player. Mount is the perfect example of a system player. And we saw it when Potter came in, how horrendous he was for you guys. Terrible for you guys. When he's come into a Ten Hag system, or whatever it is that Ten Hag is trying to play, and terrible. But then back onto Chelsea, because I just don't want to talk about Mount. But like players that shouldn't have been sold. Kovacic tops that list. Kovacic is one of the most underrated midfielders in these past few years because as
Is Mr. Consistent? He
as a
is very
failure-
consistent.
exactly.
You guys are gonna you guys are gonna strongly disagree with me with this, but I think you could have gotten more out of Big Rom. I think there was a deal to be
Yeah.
had there. I
I
think
also agree with that.
there's you could have done something with there. At the least, he is a proven goal scorer. At the
Until he's
least.
not. Until he's not.
Yeah, but if one of those chances fell to him, right, he probably would have put at least one away.
Fell to who? Sorry.
Big Rom.
Lukaku.
Who?
Lukaku is asking.
Look, at the very least, like he's not going to solve all your problems.
He's a
but
great finisher. He's a great finisher.
Yeah, at the very least, he'll get goals.
But
Right?
that's exactly what Chelsea need. They need someone to put the ball in the back of the net.
Five big chances in a final.
He's better than Jackson.
Trishu,
He's
you know,
obviously better
I'll
than
say
Jackson.
this. I'll say this to you. It's so bittersweet because here's where the sweetness is, ne? I don't want us to fall into the United trap where the coach wins a trophy and we think we are moving in the
Making
right direction.
progress, yeah.
So we keep the coach.
Yeah.
I don't want us to do that. I want when they sit down at the end of the season to see, oh, this has been a colossal failure of a season. We haven't seen any player improve. Our investment looks like it's a failed investment already. We have assembled this expensive squad of players.
I disagree with not any player improving. The keeper that came in, freaking out.
He was
stepped up.
good.
Yeah.
He was good already. Here's the thing: there's improving, meaning that you started somewhere and then you are somewhere else at the end of the season. Petrovic is as good as he was when he started. He's solid. He's been solid since. Palmer, he's as good as he was when he walked in. He's still as good.
Everyone knew Palmer had the talent. Everyone knew. No one doubted Palmer's
Yeah, but
talent.
I didn't realize that I was giving him like a season or a season and a half for him to be polished, but he just came in running.
I think part of it with Palmer is new kid on the block syndrome. Look, I still think he's talented, but I would like to see how he follows it up next season, because that's normally the litmus test, right?
I want him with a different coach.
Disagreeing that. Yeah, that too. Like, I'm not disagreeing that he's a really good player and he's definitely been your best player this season. But I want to see, because a lot of the time it's the second season that gets you, right? I'm not calling him a one-season wonder. I don't think he will be.
I get what you mean.
I just want to see how he navigates his second season.
My issue on Palmer is
Chelsea,
when he's spinning. Go on.
Chelsea has always, when it comes to these young players, they've always got them. I don't know how to put it. They've always had 3 or 4 young players that come in, but the bulk, it's players that are seasoned vets that know how the game is, that know how to win 1-0 in a cup final. And then they get introduced, these young players get introduced to this to play around with the Kantes of this world, the John Terrys of this world. Look at Cahill. When he came in, he was good. But the minute that he started playing against with JT at the back, he moved into a totally different sphere. So the only way that you can...
And then he even took on the captaincy.
Thank you. That's progression right there. The only way that you can go right ahead and get these young players to elevate, or Chelsea has always done, is have a good mixture of mature old players that tell you when you're messing about. Right now, the most mature age-wise, you're looking at Sterling. Who is Sterling going to tell that you guys you're messing about? No one.
He doesn't have the personality.
Thank you. I don't see Reece James going up to Jackson, telling Jackson that, hey, work on your first touch. But back then...
Because he needs to work on his fitness.
That's the thing. But back then...
Thiago Silva. How valuable is Thiago Silva to your dressing room?
Look at the influence he's had on Disasi. Disasi started the season very shaky, played with Thiago Silva most of his games. Now he looks solid as hell. He can make me wow.
Yeah, so sorry to that. Tools, sorry, I know I posted your comment, but I saw this and I was like, I need the laugh.
I have never seen a
Sorry,
troll.
I
Okay,
saw
that's
a
exactly what he
bench
is.
picture. I saw a bench picture of him. Ne? He was sitting wearing a cap and stuff, and I'm like, I actually forgot that Mason Mount plays football. Like,
60
I
bar.
genuinely forgot.
60
That is
bar.
so sad, guys. That is so sad for how he's rated.
Mm.
Remember, we were doing the England team last week.
Yeah,
No
we
one
didn't even mention him.
thought of Mason Mount.
No, okay, it's even worse than that. Back when we were talking about the best young midfielders, we put midfielders who we hadn't heard of before above Mason Mount.
Who's got stats that we know of?
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
and like
God.
we've seen him play. Honestly, I think
Mount is
if he
bad.
put his ego aside and took what we were giving him and came to Liverpool, we'd be having a completely different conversation about
Of
Mason.
Yep.
course,
100%.
because he is a
System
Liverpool
player.
type of player.
But
I said this. I said this when he was
that's in
linked.
hindsight, and
Nah,
that's in hindsight. It's
system
very
player.
unfair.
No, but
It's-
I said it at the time as well. But I also did say that I was happy that we got Dom instead. I'm still happy that we got Dom instead.
The thing is, there's a type of player Liverpool wants.
Mm.
The type of player that Harvey Elliott is, the type of player that Curtis Jones is, the workhorse, the runner, the one that does everything, that basically doesn't even have a position. They are they play everywhere. That's exactly
You could
the type
give
of player
him
Mount
a
is.
task, and you could be sure that he would I don't know, run himself into the ground trying to complete that task.
Yes, that's a Klopp
Who's
And
player.
your-
Klopp takes those players and
That's a Klopp
turns them
player right there.
into like I don't think he would have become world class, but we wouldn't be putting him below midfielders we don't know.
German managers always want that player. They always want the who's this guy? The Muller in the team.
The
Because
architect, not the gardener.
yes, they want a Muller in their team. People don't understand the value of a player like that. The player that is selfless, that will start your press from midfield, the one that will lead every portion, every
Play
part.
any position they want him to.
Exactly. The problem is that United are using Bruno for that.
You know what? I said this before.
It's just a
And
waste of resources.
this is another thing, and you know, X will agree with me. The guys in the comments will agree with me. The simplest thing Ten Hag has to do is just play Bruno Fernandes at 10. Just play Bruno Fernandes. We played Fulham. Bruno was on the right. Bruno was at CDM. Couple matches ago, Bruno was at centre back. Bruno was right back. Bruno is box to box. Just play Bruno Fernandes at 10.
Is there a player that's more hated than Bruno? Your Bruno?
No,
Why?
I don't think so.
Who hates Bruno?
Everyone
doesn't?
hates Bruno.
I don't
Have you
hate
seen-
Bruno.
Have you
I'm a
seen the
Liverpool
clip-
fan and I don't hate Bruno.
Have you seen the clip that this past weekend? I don't know if you
Where
saw
he
it.
falls.
Where he falls and he
No,
rolls
look,
around like
I
he got
think-
stabbed.
I think he's a spoiled diving rat, but I think he's also
Yeah,
a
you
victim
don't
of
hate
his
him.
circumstances, right? No,
You
because
don't
I
hate
think
him.
it's his circumstances, because he's probably so frustrated that he's the only player in that team he's not the only player in the team with quality, but he's the only player in that team who has shown quality consistently
And
for
been
such a long
consistent.
period of time, and he just gets screwed over by his manager. So okay, he's acting out in the wrong way, but I can kind of understand where he's coming from.
When you watch
No.
a player like Bruno, you
Being a
watch
cheating
Bruno,
rat, the only cheating rats that we allow are from the gutter. And no, So
I
I
don't
don't,
think
we
he's
don't
a cheat.
understand.
be
Okay,
fair.
no, that's a lie. That's a lie.
He's a cheat.
Let's-
He's a proper
He's a
cheat.
cheat.
And
No.
I've
He is a
mentioned
cheat.
his.
Listen.
He is a cheat.
Bruno is someone who just acts out very emotional, very, very emotional. But he is a player that you build your team around, and this team was not built around him.
Yep.
When
Well, okay,
you
you
have
can't
someone,
build your team around Bruno and expect to win the league because he's not that type of player.
yes, you can.
But
Yes.
you can build your
Yes,
team
you
around
can.
Bruno and get into top 4 and win a cup and then go from there.
No, I disagree wholeheartedly with that because that's exactly what Solskjaer did, and we came second.
Yeah, you came
That's
second.
exactly what's yes. But
Congratulations.
we came second. We came second. We went on the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League history. We were one
but
of the
you were
best
also getting
performing teams in
penalties.
the
That's like
league.
You
this
guys
is
were
like
also getting
Arsenal
penalties
drawing
for
10
fun.
games in a row and talking about unbeaten run. Come on.
Also, they were getting. This is when they were getting penalties almost every game, and Bruno was
Oh,
scoring
come on,
those
man.
off,
Like
those
99% of those
penalties.
pens were
And then
pens. There was
Klopp-
only one
Klopp
penalty
mentioned
that
it.
was not a pen.
Yes.
Klopp
And
mentioned
then
it
it
once.
stopped.
Yes, and then it
They
stopped after that.
stopped getting them. They stopped getting them. They were not getting.
And then what
those
happened?
late
And then what
penalties
happened?
anymore?
Then it was
Because
Then they
were
finished
getting
6th
one
the
year
next
they were-
season.
They
Or
were getting
5th or
bailouts.
something.
After Klopp talked about it, in the following season, we had 2 penalties.
Yes.
The whole
The
season.
entire
finished
the whole
6th.
season, we had
Or
2
5th.
penalties.
Where did you
But
finish that
you know what?
season?
I don't know. We signed Mount, and I forgot about everything before that. But look, back on the topic, right?
But
With Bruno, he's wasted. He's wasted. There was no reason to sign Mount. With Bruno, you play a midfield of Casemiro, who's going into that wash state slowly, but you play Casemiro.
He's there. I think he's there. I think he's there.
You play Bruno. He is. Look, I'm not going to deny it. Casemiro looks so burnt out. He looks tired. When he's chasing, it's like a chore for him. And
That's
this
what
is a player
Fabinho
who-
looked like at the end of last season. It looked like
Yeah.
he's
What-
run his race.
what did I say about Mino without the ball?
He's a bit of a
Isn't
passenger
there-
without the ball, but he's 17. He's 17.
Yeah.
He's 18.
I'm
That's
waiting.
why I
I'm
was
waiting
saying
for
that-
Tulani to say something.
That's why I was saying. That's why I was saying. When it comes to midfielders, you have to judge the body, not how it looks. The
Mhm.
problem sometimes is with midfielders, we get enamored about how it looks. You know, a lot of United fans had that problem even with Pogba, because on the ball, Pogba looked amazing, and then off the ball,
been
Pogba
saying this
had the
for
worst work
years.
ethic.
Okay, where
know-
were you? Why were you not in my life when Pogba was at United? I've been
Exactly.
saying this for years. For
There's no
years.
substance. Players like that don't offer you substance. When he played for France, he had Kante, so he knew he had a destroyer. He could do all of those shenanigans because he had.
He had an invisible wall, so he
Yeah.
didn't really have to commit fouls.
Exactly.
And it was the
All-
same at
all
Juve.
was asked of him.
He also had. Who's that? Blaise Matuidi
Blaise
as
Matuidi,
well. So
Same at Juve. He had
workhorses in
Marchisio,
midfield.
he had Pirlo, he had
comfortable.
Vidal.
Marchisio, Pirlo, Vidal. Yeah.
He was comfortable. He gets to
On
United. He has
Pogba,
Fred
his
and
best
McTominay.
period at United was when he was played left wing without any midfield responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what
When
I
No,
think they
actually-
want Bruno.
Actually,
That's what I
Paul
think they want
Pogba's
for Bruno
best
as well.
period at United was when he played next to Matic and behind Enzo. I mean, not Enzo,
Under Jose
Bruno.
Mourinho.
I-
Under Jose
no,
Mourinho.
it was under Solskjaer. Because there was like this 10-game stretch where Paul Pogba looked like the midfielder that you guys signed. And
And he
the
had,
reason
he-
for
he
that
had-
was
I think he had 13 assists in that 10 period
something.
game.
It was something ridiculous.
Ole
But the
KK.
reason for that was
Yeah.
Bruno was just culture shocked the entire league, and like
Yes.
teams forgot about Pogba, so he didn't really have to do much. And that's when his quality came through. As soon as they realized that this Bruno guy is actually not that good on the ball, we don't need to worry about him, then Paul Pogba just went to shit.
Also, they realize that he's soft. Bruno, you just touch him.
And he
You look
rolls.
at him. You look at him.
He's
You just
gone
look
in
at
the
him
game.
funny.
You look at him
You
funny.
look at him funny. It's gone.
I don't know.
They
I don't
played
know
each
if
other
you
ref.
guys. I don't know if you guys watched the game, the Fulham game, the Man United Fulham game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think he watched the United.
Well,
Fulham game.
now
your
he's
mic
gone.
muted.
I don't watch the United Fulham game.
I watched it. It was bad. It was
Mm.
really bad. I mean, the first half, Fulham should have scored 4 goals
Mm.
easily.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand, Shiva, when I say 4 goals? I'm talking point blank with ease, like walk the ball into the net type goals. They were just overcomplicating things when they got to United's box. They were not clinical. They were trying to be individualistic too much.
What was
You
the
know,
result, if
Quality
you don't
Robbie.
mind me asking?
United
2-1.
They
lost
won 2-1.
Fulham.
Fulham
Yeah.
won 2-1
Yeah.
at Old Trafford for the first time in 20 plus years. But we're
Yo,
used to
The
yo,
these
second
yo.
records
goal,
these
the
days.
second
Wait,
goal, the second goal will
didn't
fuck you
Zoltan
up.
Guerra score? Oh no, that was at
That
Craven
was at
Cottage.
Craven Cottage.
Yeah, that was
The
at Craven
Fulham
Cottage.
game was just Fulham played 2 passes to get from their third into
Yes,
the box.
yes.
2-3 passes. And I remember sitting there and I'm watching this and I'm like,
Iwobi was moving
where's
like prime Ronaldinho.
he was
Come
he
on,
was
X. Come
Bruh, they
on.
couldn't do anything.
there was
They
a
couldn't get
point
close to him.
where there was one through ball. I think it was Bassi. He just
was
played a
Bassi.
through ball and it just I promise you it
Bypassed
rolled
it.
in
Bassi.
slow motion through our the centre back. It rolled.
Bassi. Wait, is this the same Bassi that couldn't pick a pass against Bafana?
Yes. The
Okay.
same one.
Just wanted to clear that up.
I promise you, it rolled in slow motion through our midfield, and then everyone just looks at the ball. The only person that's chasing it is Bruno, but he's coming from the right wing into midfield to chase it. It just, and you know what? I've given Onana a lot of shit. I think he is still shit, but if it wasn't for him in that first half, we could have conceded 3
It was gonna be
Shivar,
bad.
Shivar, let me just give you the long and short of that game. Man United were not at the races on that game. No matter
Not
what
at all.
anyone
Not
says
at
that
all.
Fulham scored in the last minute, in the dying minute, no. Even the goal that Man United got, they were lucky. They got it, I think it was
They
like
got
the
it because
89th
Maguire
minute.
was playing striker.
Mm.
They were chasing the
McTominay, we
game
ended
so
that
bad.
game with McTominay at 10 and Maguire at striker.
Yes.
That's how desperate it got.
When again, it comes back to the question is why is Bruno Fernandes not playing at 10? When Scott McTominay is on the pitch, McTominay plays at 10. Bruno plays as a deep lying midfielder, trying to scrape up because Casemiro was taken off. Mainu was playing as a CDM. So Bruno
Why
has
was
to-
Casemiro taken off?
because he
Was
got hit in the
injured.
head. He got hit in the head.
No, wasn't it the yellow?
No, he got injured.
Cass is dangerous. Cass is dangerous. Especially
Yeah,
now that
Casemiro-
he's losing his legs.
Yeah.
Hmm?
It's
Yeah.
the thing with Casemiro is if he's facing you, he can win the ball. But
Yes,
as soon as
but
he's behind you,
It's chasing. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
he's a passenger.
It's when he needs
He's a
to
passenger.
chase.
And the thing is, when you have that, and you're expecting your 8 to drop and then your 10 to drop and clean up, then who's creating for Højlund? No one's creating for
I
Højlund.
remember
Give us
Casemiro
excuses.
at Real Madrid. I remember people not being in the position where he has to chase them in the first place. So
Mhm.
what's happening now? Like
Oh,
you
come
can't tell
on.
me your positional
He's
sense
playing-
is gone.
He's
Can
playing.
I
He
tell
was
you-
playing
can
with
I
Toni
tell you
Kroos.
why
He's
that was
playing
the
with
case?
Modric. Come
Yes,
on.
but-
and
Yes.
right
but-
now,
But still, he the positional sense to not let someone's first touch be behind you, that doesn't just disappear. And it doesn't matter who you're playing with because that's
I
positional
get what
knowledge.
you're
That's
saying.
not.
I get what you're saying, but also let's also remember. Let's be sober about our memory of Casemiro at Real
Sober.
Madrid. Casemiro got away with a lot of nonsense at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he did.
Because
Yes.
Yeah, he
Casemiro
did.
could be
He did.
dirty. He would pull. If you beat him, he could kick you. He could pull you in the Premier League. They reprimand him very quickly for that.
Yeah.
You know,
and the
know
thing is,
his reputation.
people
Too
forget
quickly.
this. In the Premier League, what tends to happen is that these refs have conversations and they pick up traits players,
Mhm.
diving, be it constant fouling, and next thing you know, you are brandished. You've got this whole thing on you where you know that you lunge in tackles and
that's Bruno and
I wanted-
Casemiro.
I just want to
Sterling
stop
in the
this right
box.
there. I want to stop this conversation right there and say, I will never say a good thing about a Premier League referee.
Mhm.
Like,
He's also
Same
right.
here. Same here. Same here.
Anyway,
The
Trisho,
spirit of
you want to close us
appreciating.
off and give us the excuses as to what's happening with your Rashford boy there?
So I have been wanting Rashford to leave United since 2019. You can ask anyone, you can ask my brother. Rashford is not him. He's not him. He had a very good season last season, yes, but you take away Rashford's goals, he offers absolutely nothing. I know it's unfair to say that about someone who had 30 goals last season, but he's one of those players where he's a passenger.
He's sitting on 5 this season, and the season is ending
But
in 2 months.
those 30 goals, they came in like 2 purple patches.
Yes,
Mhm.
You
in
don't even have
January.
to take away the 30 goals. There was one in January and there was one at like the beginning of the season as well, if I remember
What
correctly.
Onke
You
said
don't have to
earlier
take away the
about
30 goals. You
the
take away
manager and
those
the
2.
trophy.
Yeah.
What Onke said earlier about the manager and the trophy. When it was October until February, we were one of the best teams around. As soon as we won that League Cup, the first thing that happened after that, we lost 7-0. That was the first thing that happened after that. And
And what
I
happened?
promise you, as soon as we won that trophy, it was like watching a completely different team. We were knocked out of the Europa League because of Harry Maguire and David De Gea, but we just couldn't get going. Couldn't string 2 passes.
I
Rashford just
remember
completely stopped playing football.
I actually remember your downfall coming before the trophy. And I remember thinking Newcastle would win that game up until I saw who their goalkeeper was going to be. And then I'm like, okay, no, United can definitely win it now. So I don't think it was a trophy. I think it started before the trophy, but that trophy kind of just gave you false confidence to think that you could just
It
continue.
The other thing is
it was after the trophy
if you
because
look at
before
how
the
they were
trophy,
winning those games, if you look at how they were winning those games as well, it was either Casemiro header goals. If you remember, Trishu, that's exactly there was that patch where Casemiro was scoring almost every game on set
Mhm.
pieces,
From set
and
play.
then and then it was Rashford 1v1s.
Mm.
He would break free. It was almost as if you could telegraph how exactly they game plan and where they'll like Arsenal this season. They get their goals mainly they break through from set plays first, and then they start to get
Like your
free
background
and
X.
break through. Yeah,
Yeah, the
No,
purple
I'm
patch.
looking at
Get it?
X.
I get it.
Purple Patch
With
FC
You should call
with
him.
what
You
with
should
that
call him
United
background.
last
Prince.
season, it was just a long diagonal from Bruno Casemiro onto the left wing. Rashford cuts inside, puts it in. That's how it was. But on the point of that whole thing about it was before the trophy win, it wasn't. If you watched our Europa League games against Barcelona, we absolutely dismantled Barcelona.
yeah,
Barcelona.
but
That game at Old Trafford.
Xavi's Barcelona is not
That's
Barcelona.
not that's
Yeah,
not
but
Barcelona.
like
Calm
still.
Is
yourself.
it Barcelona light?
Calm
It,
yourself.
it is Barcelona from Wish, but like still, it's United. I think.
Kuntemu.
Look. I a few weeks ago I was here with X and Tools, and X said that he is Ten Hag out. I'm not Ten Hag out, but I'm getting to that period where I'm not Ten Hag out, but I'm not Ten Hag in, because that performance against Fulham, where there's just nothing. There's nothing. You watch the
Yeah.
game and there's nothing. At least under Solskjaer, it was give it to Bruno and inshallah, and something will happen. Here, you're giving
What
it to Bruno, and nothing is happening.
you see, the challenge now is that Hoyland also hit his own purple patch, right?
Mm,
And when he hit his purple patch, you were able to win against Aston Villa, even though you conceded 20 plus something shots. You
shots,
don't
yeah.
concede 20 plus something shots in the Premier League, guys, as a top
We did
six
that against
team.
Luton
Honestly,
as well.
Wait,
Luton.
you did that with
didn't you concede
Luton.
like 19 shots against us or something like that?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, wait, the ones
Alonso
that
to
gone to
Bayern
Emirates.
At
Munich,
Anfield.
who comes to Anfield.
Wait,
I don't
is
know.
this confirmed news, guys? I've been waiting for this news. Eh? I'm excited for Alonso. He's such an
No, it's
amazing
not.
coach.
Not yet.
It's
Not
not
yet.
confirmed. Chriso, don't come here with rumors, eh?
My biggest worry is if Liverpool get someone like Nagelsmann or Amorim. If they
No,
get one,
it's
especially
Alonso.
Amorim is in the running actually.
Mhm.
His
Yeah,
name's been
I'd
coming up a
rather they
lot
get
lately.
Amorim, honestly. I'd rather they get Amorim because Amorim would teach them a different brand of football. Alonso would actually benefit the way they play. You need a
Sasha
coach that's going to change.
Tavalieri, who
You
is the
need a
guy
coach
that
that's
was
going to
reporting
change
on.
them.
So sorry, okay. Sasha Tavalieri, which is the guy that reported on the whole Lavia story.
Oh yes,
Apparently,
I know
he's
Sasha.
good with
Yeah.
he's good with Belgian players. I don't know if I should believe this, but this tweet is Xavi Alonso more and more close to Liverpool FC. The Spanish coach has made clear his mind after several talks between his entourage and the Liverpool board. Even if Bayern's pushing, it seems less likely that the trainer of Bayer, that's Leverkusen, will continue one more year in the Bundesliga.
This is something Jan Agerfoot said last week. Pletty Goal said he might go to Bayern. For now,
Bayern,
it's
yeah.
still rumor mill stuff.
And I would believe Plettigol and Young Arngo Fjortoft over Sasha because he is just Belgian. But especially for Bundesliga, Fjortoft and
Yeah,
Plettigol are the
Pletty and
ones.
Jan are the ones for Bundesliga. But then
The
also,
thing is,
don't
though,
know.
Alonso played. He's like, okay, he's not a legend, but he's a very well respected player at Bayern Munich as well.
Yes,
So
that's the
it's
thing.
not like
You
he's
never
turning on
know.
Liverpool to go to Bayern. It's
But
it's like choosing one of your favorite kids. Like, what are you
what
gonna
if
do?
Ancelotti leaves, guys?
I'll take Ancelotti in a heartbeat. Ask my brother
No,
the
no.
day Ferguson left. The day
What
Ferguson left
what if
United,
he
I came
leaves?
home crying and I said I want Ancelotti at
Would
United.
Xavi say no to Real Madrid?
Ooh, I don't think
He
he's ready
probably
for Real
wouldn't.
Madrid.
He
He
look.
wouldn't.
I
It's
have my
also home.
doubts on taking him at Liverpool, simply because I feel like we're losing Klopp, so we want someone who understands the club, and like it's more emotional than it is tactical or
Football
anything
related.
like that. Yeah, I think that's why there's such a big push, just because he's someone who will get the club. But I have my doubts on Alonso, and my biggest doubt is Bayer Leverkusen. They play more like a Pep style of football rather
They
than a
do.
Klopp style of football. Like,
Mm.
okay, he's somewhere in between, but he's like 80% Pep and 20% Klopp.
He's Spanish.
Right.
But they're also bombarding
And
fullbacks.
well,
though,
yeah,
because
he's
look at
Spanish.
Ronaldo and Ping Pong.
He's Spanish.
But they're not bombarding fullbacks. They're more wingbacks.
Yes.
It is a five back or 3 back with
It's
2
it's sort of a five with what's his name playing like that John Stones role where he's half a midfielder, half a centre back.
Tapsoba
Um,
or the other one.
The guy, I'm not gonna pronounce his name, the Colombian kid. I think he's Colombian, the
Oh,
South American kid.
Pacho.
Pacho. No, that's not
It's
his name.
Pacho. He is Colombian or Venezuelan. He's one of those. I'm pretty sure.
But I think you guys have made my night. I'm feeling much better because I'm thinking about the transitional stage that Liverpool has to go through, and I'm hoping they get growing pains.
Why
in
can't
that,
Pep leave? Pep must also go. Pep
It's
must
not
go.
Pacho. It's not Pacho.
156 charges. Is it 156 charges?
115.
115.
115.
Yeah, add 40 odd in there also. Who cares? But yeah, that's the only way that we can get rid of Pep.
I think
So that he
something's
keeps
brewing
winning.
at City. How do they look against Bournemouth? I saw the score. They won it 1-0. I don't know if it was one of those 1-0s where
I slept
they
during
scraped
that
it, or one
game.
of those 1-0s where it could have been 10.
I was dozing during that game. It was a bad watch. It was a horrible watch. But
I think the
The
also
game
players
against
feels like
Chelsea was also a bit of a drab performance.
yeah,
Until
but
City had
a
like
part
that
of me
last
also
10, 15
feels
minutes.
like City still has KDB in their back pocket, and Pep is comfortable just sitting him right now. As long as KDB is fit, City is a problem going forward. They didn't have Kevin in that game. That was a game for Kevin. The types of games where he breaks teams. They didn't have that cutting edge in midfield. They had control, but Bournemouth was a bit comfortable with controlling them with their defense. Because they could isolate Haaland. No one was finding him. Kevin is the best at finding Haaland. And he
Remember
also
at the
overloaded
start
his
of the year,
midfield.
and Onke, I think you were the only person who agreed with me, and I think maybe Cheese agreed with me as well. At the start of the year, or like not like right at the beginning, but earlier on, someone said who was better, or who would you rather have between Haaland and Aguero? And I was like, there is no doubt it is Aguero, because
Yes.
in games like that, Aguero can
Mm.
still create a chance for himself and score.
Mhm.
Whereas Haaland, I didn't watch the game, but from
It's
what you're saying,
dependent
Haaland was
on
isolated,
us.
I said
Mm.
the same
dependent
thing.
on others.
Box strikers are a challenge when it comes to games where you need to grind, because without service, they can't create for themselves. Give me a Diego Costa in a game like that. I know he's going to bully someone and score,
Arsenal.
because he's not a box striker. Even Didier Drogba, not a box striker. Thierry Henry, not a box striker. They Wayne Rooney, not a box striker. They could go
Hen-
fetch
Henry was a
and create for
converted.
themselves.
He was a converted winger, by the way.
Yeah. Thierry Henry, yeah, converted winger, just like Pierre Emerick Aubameyang. Those even
Put some
Jackson
respect
is
on
a winger.
Bobby's name.
Who?
Bobby. Bobby
No,
Firmino.
Bobby's the greatest
Because
false nine we've ever seen.
those
The
are
greatest false nine we've
exactly the
ever seen.
games where he would pop up with a goal or an
Exactly.
assist or
Or
something.
he would hit those counters where he finds Mane or Salah breaking and they score. That is the importance of having that nine that can drop, just like Harry Kane could find Son by dropping into midfield and creating. Wayne Rooney is the one that created that nine, where he could find Cristiano Ronaldo or Nani running free from dropping and pulling a defender with him into midfield. Those are some of the things that you'll never get from Haaland, unfortunately. We've seen him do it. He did it against Arsenal last season when KDB broke away and scored. He pulled, I think, Gabriel, and then managed to get KDB free. But
Saliba
he
didn't play
doesn't
that
do
game.
that. So who?
Saliba didn't play that game, I think.
Yeah, I think he didn't play that game.
Mm.
But those are some of the things that you need a striker to actually be able to do for you. Solanke also struggled because he's a box striker himself. He needs service.
And that's why he struggled at Liverpool, because
That's
we
why he
don't play
struggled
with
at
that type of
Chelsea.
striker.
That's why he couldn't play at Chelsea as well. We needed dynamism. We needed someone who's happy to have the ball, who's happy to do something with the ball, not just kick it into the net. So
That's why
You don't have that at
in
United.
Jan, that's why in Jan,
you have Højlund.
when Ivan Toney was available, I said let's go for him, and people judged
I
me
want
for it.
that guy. Every time I watch Brentford, I always think to myself, a one-touch striker is perfect. That striker that already has his mind made up before the ball gets to him about what he's going to do with the ball.
Him, no.
This guy. Okay, guys. While we have some peace in our lives, okay, I think I said put some respect on Bobby's name, but I think you went a little bit far there, calling him the best or the best false nine ever.
False nine,
but I'll take
know
number
a better
two.
one. I don't know.
I'll take. I will concede
Lionel
that
Messi.
he is second to Leo Messi, but I'm happy with number two.
Okay, wait. Okay, here's what I'll say, because Messi wasn't really a false nine. He was
Messi
like
was
a 9-10.
That's a false nine.
Yeah, but he was a 9-10. He would start
he's
from
a goat.
midfield. He'd
He's a
take
goat.
balls from midfield, create, and then go into the box. It was very
This is a
different
goat.
what Firmino does, because Firmino would want the defense to be pulled with him. Messi made it a point that the defense forgets about him by the time he receives the ball.
Look,
So
I am gonna argue, and people have forgotten about this guy, but I think he was one of my favorite players growing up, and I think from what I've seen, he was probably the first player to play the false nine at a very high level. And Trishul, you won't remember, it's well before your time, but Francesco Totti. For me, he was amazing, and he played that role almost perfectly. That
But
false nine role, and
Totti was more a 10
he wasn't
than a
attacking
9.
me.
but
Yeah, he wasn't attacking me.
he was a false nine. So earlier on in his career, yes, he was a 10, but later on he was pretty much the number 9, and he played that false 9 role. And they had these two wingers, I don't even remember their names, on either side of him, and it was also a 4-3-3, similar to how Klopp set up his front line. The tactics were very different because they were more defensive, whereas we were more like counter pressing. But I think, yes, prime Totti was a 10, but later on in his career, he played as a number 9, as that false 9. He played
Much
that
more
false nine
advanced.
role. Pretty much the same position, just didn't have a
Didn't he
striker
play
in
with
front of
Luca
him.
Toni?
Yeah, that was early on. No, that was for Italy. That was for
Italy,
Italy
That
when
was
he
for
played.
Italy.
But this was a
Yeah.
time when
This was at Roma.
Italy was famous for defending, where you knew that their defense was solid. Right now
I mean,
they've lost the art of defending.
you say that, right? You say that, but they scored goals as well. Like they were not like prime Stoke City. Like they
Mourinho,
they were
put
not
it at the
Mourinho
back
went
of the
and
net
said,
as well.
Yeah, they were not
Mourinho
a
went and
defensive
said, for
team.
you to win the league, it starts with your defense.
Yes. They were not a
But we had
defensive
something
team.
similar as
But
well.
Italian football has always been about the strength
Yes,
of defense.
Batistuta, correct.
Oh yes, he played with Batistuta.
What's your goal?
It's challenging. It's challenging. I get your point. I still feel like Firmino was the whole package in terms of a false nine. The whole package. He will be your
Pace,
nine.
skill, yeah.
Everything
Hold up.
that you spoke about those German players, like he had that, and then he was also like prime Ronaldinho on the turn.
Exactly.
He could
this
also
is the part
skin
that
you.
others don't have. That's the part others don't have. The playmaking. He was a fucking playmaker. Like
Okay, guys, we're going for 1 hour 20 minutes now. I think we can call it. It was a good ranting session, and as I said, I'm looking forward to the transitional phase. One of two things are definitely going to happen. You're going to fall from grace from drinking too much of that
I need
Caraboa
them to hire
energy.
Lampard. I need them to hire Gerrard, man. Give that man a
No.
chance.
That's it's gone. It's gone.
Yes,
Ole
I
got his
still
Gerrard.
think
chance.
Give it to
Frank
Gerrard.
Lampard got his chance.
I think
Vincent Kompany
we
is
will
waiting.
still rebuild before you
Solskjaer got
guys
his
rebuild.
chance.
Vincent Kompany is waiting right now.
How is he gonna rebuild? How is he gonna rebuild when he's got 6 home games left? But anyway, guys, thanks for the
Arteta
time.
has already started. You know, we need this. Why can't you guys have it? Why do you want?
Gerrard's
Arteta
already had his
already?
chance. He's already had his chance. He's already won a league in Scotland.
Exactly.
He's done now. He's in Saudi. He's gone. We don't want to see him. It's done. It's
He
done.
probably
I will
misses
take.
home. He's
Just like
homesick.
we are done, guys. Once again, thanks for the time. It was a good ranting
Who does Criso support?
session.
United.
I think
United.
Chris was a
Is it-
United supporter.
It makes sense. It makes sense because
Very
at
delusional.
no point during this whole thing did he mention who he supported. So it makes sense that he's a United fan.
He never mentions what he supports.
What's it? 10
I think he's
years
a
now?
United fan.
It creeps up on you. It creeps up on you. Trust me, I know.
Nah, you
Arsenal are
started
hitting
the trend.
20
You
this
started the
season.
trend
So
30 years.
actually,
Guys,
we
let's call
didn't.
it.
We actually didn't because United went like 40-something years without winning it. But
It
yes,
was in the middle
Sihle,
of a
I agree
war.
with you.
There was a war in the middle of that. There was a whole war between that. And it was like 30 years, but there was a war. There was a 10-year war.
It wasn't a 10-year war. It was
The
2
Berlin
5-year
Wall
wars.
fell. There was a lot. But guys, let's call it. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. That's it. Take it easy. Enjoy the week.
Cheers, gents.
Cheers,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.